restrained his excitement first gets to hold Tom Savini's water. It's awesome.
That's vodka.
Oh, okay. It's just a big old
No,
glass.
I don't drink. Never have.
All right, guys. So there's so many questions going through my head. The first one is for George. I think it's really hard to trace back like a cultural phenomenon to one person, but you are the only person I can think of where I can trace back this huge impact on pop culture to one person. So I've always kind of wondered, obviously we had zombies in film before Night of the Living Dead, but they were more like slaves in a trance. What was it about taking that idea, what inspired kind of the flesh-eating, undead walking, as we all know them now? What inspired that?
You know, I mean, if I were to give you a serious answer, it would have to be a pretty long one. I was looking for something that should change the world.
Yeah.
Because I wanted those characters in Night to be faced with this huge, enormous problem and still be arguing about petty, ridiculous things. That's what I wanted. So I said, well, what if the dead stopped staying dead? And then I said, well, that's just to make it a little more, a little bloodier, we could have them eat flesh. Sort of as simple as that.
Yeah.
That's a short version of what is otherwise a much longer, sort of a complicated story involving, you know, social mores and everything else.
Yeah, so then you take that idea and we now fast forward to where it's such a part of our pop culture that like 60 or 70% of people actually believe that this could happen. That you have people spending millions and millions and millions of dollars building bunkers in their backyard because they're afraid that their uncle and aunt are going to rise from the grave and eat their brains. The CDC
You mean it
released...
didn't happen?
No, it has not happened yet. It has not happened.
Haven't you been to a mall lately?
Yeah. The CDC released an official statement on zombieism because so many people believe that it really is gonna. What is that like for you to see that? And do you think it's ridiculous?
I don't think it's ridiculous. I mean, I think what has happened is that the films particularly have become something else. It's like, you know, I sort of used to be the only guy in the playground.
Yeah.
And I was happily playing in that playground, and now all of a sudden it's, you know, become huge.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of taking a break right now. I'm writing a comic book right now. So.
Yeah. If you haven't checked out Empire of the Dead, check it out. So I'd like to know, I mean, what's some of your favorite zombie stuff, like more recent zombie stuff, or just horror in general? I mean, what do you think about The Walking Dead? I'd love to know that.
I think it's...
Oh, what did I do? Oh, no.
I think it's a soap opera.
It's the Talking Dead. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What I mean, I've heard you say that you really like, you know, Shaun of the Dead, and what those guys did. Yeah. Is there any more stuff you've seen lately that you just really liked a lot, like what they were doing?
You know, not too much.
Yeah, it's not great.
I didn't like World War Z when I first saw it, and then I saw Man of Steel, and World War Z suddenly looked great.
All right, so World War Z brings, and I'd love to hear all your opinions because you made zombies up and you guys have had to fight them and you create them. Let's solve the age-old debate versus slow zombies versus running zombies right here.
Again, you've opened up. He has bumper stickers that say "Fast Zombies Suck." Which is true. I mean, if you don't mind speaking for you, you know, I've heard him say that, you know, they're dead. They don't become superheroes. They will disintegrate and rot.
Yeah.
They're dead, you know. They should run, you know.
Yeah, it's weird to think that I could run faster after being dead than I could ever, because I can't run very fast right now. Yeah. Well, and you mentioned your comic.
Mummy, you know?
Yeah, you mentioned your
Slow
comic.
and steady.
You mentioned your comic book. I love seeing you kind of play in that world? Is you know, you talked about maybe plans for 2 more Dead films. Is TV something you'd like to do with those, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, you know, in the back of my mind, that of course, it's in the back of my mind that, you know, maybe somebody would pick it up and it could become, you know, television, probably television.
Yeah.
Because it's too long and involved to become a film.
Well, I don't know if you know this now, but the key to getting a TV show made is making a comic book first. So you are on the right track. All right, so Tom, you meet George. I want to know, you know, you spent some time in Vietnam. I really want to know how much that kind of influenced your effects and what you saw over there, and how much that influenced what you did.
Oh, it had a big effect. It had a huge effect on me because I'm the only makeup artist that has seen the real stuff anatomically. So it made me want to create my stuff anatomically correct. You know, I get letters from kids that have glued a couple of pieces of sponge to their head and they poured blood over them, you know, and they have a letter at Joe Blow's special makeup effects company. He knows nothing. He's a kid, you know. But I strive to make the stuff anatomic because I want the fake stuff to give me the same feeling I got when I saw the real stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So it has to be anatomically correct. So Vietnam was a lesson in anatomy for me.
Yeah, and I know when Dawn first came out, you were kind of unhappy with the way some of the colors came out and some of those things. Do you, now that more time has gone by, can you look back on it with more nostalgia, or do you just still?
I saw a posting on Facebook today. A guy didn't like the fact that they were blue zombies, and I responded. And they made a big deal about me responding, you know, to this thing. But they were gray. The zombies were gray.
Yeah.
You know, after Night of the Living Dead, the purpose of making the zombies gray was so that you could tell who the zombies were compared to other people, real people. But sometimes the lighting in the mall made them blue.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were green. But the intention was just to be gray so you could tell the difference.
Yeah. And Scott, I read a really funny story that whenever you guys go in malls now and you see in the escalator they have those little pyramids, you have this man to thank for that because of his big improv slide down the escalator. They actually, that is like now a thing that they call a Reiniger, which is crazy. And especially in the Monroeville Mall, there are many, I don't know if you know this, but there are tons of people on YouTube who do it and are being chased by security guards just because it's a thing now. So I would love to hear from you guys just like what it was like on your end to be around Tom's effects and kind of be making this movie. And I mean, it was creepy because you guys had to shoot only at night because of the holidays. I mean, I would probably poop my pants a lot of times if I was actually making this movie. So what was that experience like?
It was like being in the mall at night, all night long, and with the zombies. It was, you know, you go to an altered state because we sleep all day. And then we're up all night and we sleep all day. And it was like really being in the Twilight Zone. You know, we're like in our own little world. And
The keys to all the stores.
with the keys to all the stores. We didn't steal anything, did we? No.
Not even in the
Not even the money.
Not even the money, yeah.
They actually, the bank actually gave us real money to use.
One funny thing about working overnight in the mall was that after we wrapped every night, we'd go back to our area where we had our craft service and where everybody assembled. And then we would get out of costume, go into I forget what restaurant it was, but there was a restaurant in the mall that served us breakfast.
The Derby, the Brown Derby was it?
I forget what it was, but we'd all go in there, and when we came out, the store had opened. And the people walking around in the mall looked pretty much the same as the zombies we've been looking at all night long.
It was Christmas time when you guys were shooting, right?
We shut, well, we
had to shut down.
We had to shut down for Christmas. But
Now, the Brown Derby was a bar. We would make up zombies at 7 o'clock, and they might not shoot till maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. So they would go to the Brown Derby and get drunk. This guy, so you'd have drunken zombies.
So when you see them, they're actually just drunk people stumbling home.
And there was a photo booth. You know those booths that you go in, you get your picture taken with a strip of photos. Outside of the booth, they had samples of the photos. Well, these zombies were going to take pictures of themselves and take out the samples and put themselves in it. So customers coming to the mall the next day would see these hideous photos of the photo booth the night before.
All right, so I have two more questions, and it's kind of a two-part, and then we'll ask a couple out here. So, number one, what do you think you would do just if there was a zombie apocalypse? Because apparently it's going to happen. Two, if you became a zombie, what would be your Monroeville Mall? Like, where do you think you would instinctually go?
I'd go to Disney World.
Just a zombie going to Disney World.
Yeah. Just because I want my ashes spread over Epcot.
Okay, fair enough.
Might as well go there as a zombie when I'm dead.
Yeah. I mean, if you had to listen to It's a Small World after all, you would probably want to be dead. So, yeah. What do we?
Well, I guess I'd go to Nantucket, which is 30 miles out on the ocean off the East Coast.
Well, and now...
To stay away from the zombies, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, now, according to
Swim.
George, and what's canon, zombies can go underwater and come back up on land, so... I don't know if you'd be safe anymore.
Yeah, you're pretty screwed.
And as we saw in the last one, islands are not so great either, so... yeah.
Well, I live in New York City, so it would have to be Macy's.
I like it. All right, George. So, what would you do if there was a real zombie apocalypse and then you turn into a zombie? Where do you what's muscle memory for you?
I think I'd go to Max Brooks' house. He's got all the...
Yeah, he seems to know what he's
Not if
doing.
I was a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys.
Stay away from Max's house.
Yeah, you would stay if you were a zombie. You'd stay away from Max's house. All right, guys. Couple of questions. All right, way up there. First one. Make it good.
George, I want to know in Dawn, did
Where are you?
I'll repeat the question. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, when Scott, when he was coming back from the dead after he died, Scott, did you shoot a shot with Ken Forey shooting him? You see it on camera, you hear it on camera when he gets shot. So was it actual, where he got shot on camera?
no.
All right, next one.
Thank God.
Yes, ma'am. In the awesome WGON shirt. Yes.
Gentlemen, you have your choice, but you cannot pick zombie. What is your boogeyman?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm gonna steal that for the next Q&A. What is your boogeyman?
At the airport, people next to me on the cell phone.
Cockroaches.
Oh.
I'm with him. I'm sorry. I changed my mind. I'm with him.
Wait, hold on. Yours is now a giant cockroach on a cell phone at the airport.
Can't stand them.
My second ex-wife.
She's here right now. There she is, right there.
Oh, boy, I don't know. Ted Cruz, I think.
I saw a shirt the other day that I knew was inspired by you. It said, zombies, vampires, werewolves, politicians. I was like, that person was singing George Romero when they made that shirt. Yes, sir, right here. Oh, stand up, sir. Stand up. Will, yes.
Yeah.
School of Effects there. Yes, sir. What is your question?
Well, now I feel a little embarrassed because this is toilet paper.
I've used toilet paper. I've created monsters with toilet paper.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I just had a question for you, George, which is, I've always kind of heard one version of the story and another version of the story, and I just really wanted to hear it straight from the auteur's mouth. The ending of Night of the Living Dead, when Ben, spoiler alert, sorry.
Wait, hold on.
Nobody has
Time
seen
out.
it. Right?
Time
Nobody
out,
has
time
ever
out.
seen that movie.
Time out. Has anyone here not seen Dawn of the Dead?
Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead.
Okay, either Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
My wife has not seen either of them.
Okay, all right.
Get out.
All right, there we go. All right. Hey, don't out. This is the best first time to see it. I can't imagine a better place. So, all right, go ahead.
Cover your ears for 40 seconds. No, at the end of the movie, when Ben is shot and everything, and dies, and the movie takes on this real kind of civil rights sort of metaphor to it. I've always heard one way or the other that that civil rights metaphor was intended, that it was not intended. He was just hired because he was the best actor. I just really would love to hear it straight from you.
No, we used Dwayne. Dwayne agreed to do the film. And we were delighted to have him because he was the best actor from among our friends. That was it. It wasn't meant to be a racial statement. It was just when people started to write about it, particularly when it was sort of discovered by the French. And there was a big magazine, big French cinema magazine called Cahiers du Cinéma that was the first publication to analyze the film as a racial statement. And that's really not what we intended. I mean, we were thinking that we're past all that. You know, we didn't think that should be that kind of a problem. We were just more concerned about the arguing, and you know, it's going to be interpreted, I think, because of the Harry Cooper character, that he's going to be interpreted as a racist just because Dwayne is black. But that's really not what we were trying to talk about.
It's a really good question. You made Don at a time where social commentary was kind of rising to the surface. It was less kind of buried. And I remember watching an interview with you where you said the entire series for you was about kind of the lack of communication, the lack of people just talking about things. Now where we're at with social media, where we're communicating all the time, but we're really not. We're not actually talking to each other. We're talking to other people. How do you feel like the commentary has stayed the same, or do you feel like the movie has evolved, and where do you see that going in your future
I think to some extent it's remained the same.
Yeah.
I mean, the Diary of the Dead, if anybody knows that's explicit.
Great movie.
Right, yeah.
You know, and that's really, you know, that was the one character interpreting the situation his way.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's misguided.
Yeah.
Misguided.
So the next one's just gonna be Tweet of the Dead, like everybody's just gonna be like, in the mall. Hold on.
Twitter of the dead.
Twitter of the Dead. Hold on.
Tweets of the dead.
Totally just got bit by a zombie. Yeah.
Hashtag Al.
Hashtag blessed. All right, next question. All right, we have time for. Wait, she's like, you have your hand up, and then you have someone pointing their hand at you. So that must be, you don't even know her apparently. All right, sir, you ask your question because somebody believes in you. So.
I was just about filming. I heard that you guys didn't have control over the Muzak system and had to wait for it to go out before you could start filming. Is that true?
Right, it would come on at like 7 in the morning, and that was the end of sound takes. And nobody knew how to turn it off.
Controlled by a central brain in Alaska.
It's awful. yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes. John Carpenter's The Thing did a fairly successful prequel. Have you guys considered doing a prequel or a sequel to this version of Dawn of the Dead, perhaps revolving around Tom Savini's character of the Marauder?
The bike gang.
Yeah. They could either do a prequel of that up to the mall, or even a sequel of that. What happens to them after the mall?
Sounds like you've written this. You should make it. That's awesome.
You just happen to have a script, right, of that.
So, Plebs, did you kind of come up with a backstory for those guys, where they were coming from, or?
Well, wait a minute. To tie this in with something else.
Yeah.
Knight Rider.
Yeah.
I mean, Marauders, Knight Rider. I mean, I don't know if there was any progression or evolution or what sequence.
I never connected the two, except that, you know, except Tom is in it.
Well, we could be going to the mall. We could be going to the mall and don't happen to know there's a zombie uprising.
Yeah, there's no kind of Tarantino
The
verse
sequel
here.
to Night
Yeah.
Riders, where a bridge, right? They go from.
Yeah. Awesome. Nobody's got any Creepshow questions, apparently, huh? No. Does anyone have any Creepshow question? I will call on you right now. No. Okay. All right. Creepshow was awesome. Just saying that. Yes, sir. All the way in the back. All the way in the back. Oh, awesome. Stand up and ask your awesome creep show questions.
It might be kind of weird, but you said creep show, so I thought I'd ask it. During one of the segments, is it true that there's a minor key version of Camptown Races?
Yes. I'm sorry, one word answers for you. Actually, what I did was I cut a sequence. I cut I edited that particular story. And I cut a sequence there where I did cuts every 2 seconds or something like that. And I called up John Harrison and said, can you do Camptown Races? Because Leslie Nielsen was humming that or whistling it, or I forget, during the thing. So it became kind of a theme. And I said, can you do a version of that where the beats hit one every 2 seconds? And that's what he did.
That's great. All right, one last question. Oh God, this is really hard. It's got to be a really good question. Tom, I'm going to let you pick. I can't do this. This guy? All right, you sir, last question. Don't mess it
First of
up.
all, George, you're a god among men. Thank you.
Good start. Good start.
For Tom, what do you think of the new sex machine in Dusk Till Dawn? Nobody can believe sex.
Oh.
Well, you know, I was there for the premiere, and Jake Busey denied that he would, of course, maybe he had to. Robert doesn't like to have information go out. But I watched the episode, and, you know, he's like a lech. He's like trying to pick up these girls. He said, well, if anybody bothers you, just come see Sex Machine. And he ripped off his codpiece, and there's the gun. And she says, I bet it fires blanks. So they made fun of the guy. They ridiculed the guy, you know? So I'm happy about that. Because I played the macho guy, and Jake is playing this lecherous, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. We have to end on a Dawn of the Dead note. Like, we have to.
Yep.
You feel pretty good about
got
this.
one.
All right. Go ahead.
Just for David, because he hasn't got to talk a lot tonight. And I did spoil alert for anybody who hasn't seen Dawn of the Dead. When you come out of the elevator, it's an amazing walk that you come out with, and the creepiest thing about the film is what you do with one of your ankles. It's like flail. It looks like it's broken. How did you create that walk with the zombies that way?
It's a great question.
Well, George basically said, don't look at me, Jack, you're zombie. So I thought, well, you know, and I'd been an actor for some few years prior. I thought, David, what the hell am I going to do? I've been sitting around hundreds of zombies for weeks and weeks, and I thought, what can I do that sets this guy off? And I said, David, do your acting exercises. There's a reason for everything that stance exhibits. The neck, the ankle was, the ankle got snapped when I fell through the top of the elevator. And I thought, well, use it. So I said, if you're gonna use it, go for it, you know? And that's all you could do, was try to push these little tiny elements as far as you could, and not necessarily make them believable, but make them something you would remember. And so these are all little bitty elements stretched as far as I felt I could get away with. And that's what the image is.
May I say something that it's widely been expressed that his is one of the greatest zombie performances that are out there.
Absolutely.
It was a hell of a run.
When you first stepped out of that elevator, that's the first time we saw that.
Yeah.
It's because you know we never rehearsed anything. The doors open. David came walking out with the gun dangling and the ankle broken, and I mean we just fell down. It was like,
wow, you know, wow.
No, I remember after we did the first shot, when the doors opened and I came out, after we, stopped that tape, George was like,
Wow.
Unbelievable.
What a great story. All right, I can't really imagine any better way to go into a showing of Dawn of the Dead. This has been amazing. Give these guys a huge round of applause. Here, you want me to you guys stand there and I'll take it? You just want them, all right.
My sister said, take pictures.
All right, here's how, we're gonna make this interesting for his sister. Everybody stand up, everybody up. Do your best zombie. The entire audience go into zombie mode.
Okay.
There we go. Going to Texas Frightmare this weekend! Awesome. Well, if you had a question and you didn't get it answered, or you just want the chance to meet these guys, head out to Texas Frightmare Weekend.